to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Welcome back. Another fun week of Athletics LLC. You know, we might get a little spicy tonight. Who knows? We'll try to get Mr. Will Claye a little bit of trouble. Not too much trouble, though. Just a little bit of trouble. But as you can see, we do have a guest with us this evening, but I'll introduce our returning guests, our forever guests, for another night with me. Sir Lucious, how are you tonight, sir?
I am outstanding as always. I mean, doesn't get much better. Doesn't get much better in my life right now, so I'm good.
I like it. Clyde, you're looking like you're maxing, relaxing.
I'm trying, you know. It's the West Coast. That's what we always trying to do, right?
Something like that. Something like that. Lamar 3-bounce Huffins. Okay, I get it. Wow, that took me a second. Sorry. I was reading it like 3 times. Like, I don't get it. What is it? It's horrible. I swear I was a jumps coach. I swear.
I mean, it seems like it's casual Friday. I mean, Sir Lucious has on a T-shirt for the first time ever.
Well, see, you have to read the T-shirt since you're gonna have jokes.
We can't, and I didn't have a joke.
Yeah, it says it's celebrating 50 years of women's athletics at the University of Florida, sir.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I wasn't getting on you.
Oh,
I was actually setting you.
Anyway,
I was setting it up to get
I
on.
apologize for buying into his nonsense. Continue.
I was setting it up to get on Clyde, who's supposed to be the GQ one on the show, and he got his shirt open, got taco meat out, no tie on.
First of all, there is no meat at all, and secondly, I could sit here shirtless, and I'm still gonna be the GQ one in this arena.
Be careful now.
So
be careful.
Wow. Wow.
Let's not go there.
Hey, Will, let them know now. Let them know.
Hey, I know.
Hey, that white suit, coach.
Hey, no, as you said, it was cocaine white, right?
Cocaine white, not a stain. I was like, dang, coach. Okay, I'm taking notes.
Well, he can bring that. He can bring that out here any day. We would all love to see that.
No, I'm not coming out there.
If he wear that in the Bay, they gonna think he got some work with him.
For sure.
Like I said, not coming out there.
So last but not least, if you haven't realized who we have as a guest today, Mr. Will Claye, there are 1,002 things that I can say past your name, but I will let you reveal how you want to introduce yourself. So if you don't mind, let the audience know who you are if they don't know already.
Yeah, I feel like you gave me a smooth introduction, but Will Claye, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Went to the University of Oklahoma and the University of Florida. And I'm a long jumper and triple jumper. I'm an artist. I'm a husband. Yeah, just to name a few things. You know, that's me in a nutshell.
I love that. I'm going to pick this out, that you said you're a long jump and a triple jumper. Mm-hmm. Because in my head, it would have been triple jumper and a long jumper. In my head.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's why I wanted you to say what you were or who you were, because we all have these pictures of what you are. Right. But who you really are is what you identify.
Right. You're a jump.
Now, can we be clear? Because we love Will. Chew soft pedaled that, and Will being his humble self, soft pedaled that as well. So Lamar, can you give that man a proper introduction, please?
I will be happy to. Well, first of all, he is not an artist. He is a platinum recording artist. And he's not just a jumper. He is one of probably the top 3 combo jumpers in the history of this planet. I think that's probably a little bit better.
Getting into it.
We could do better, but that's the subtlety that I got left. because I know Will's not really the guy that like wants all the bright light, but at the end of the day.
And Lucious, Gator legend.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely a Gator great. You know, even the thing about Will, it wasn't just like Will came here to be a part of something special, and it wasn't just about Will. He wanted to make sure the team. He was a leader. He stayed on everybody. Distance runners, it didn't matter. So he was an incredible teammate. Like some of my best memories are watching Will run around the infield while Tony was running around the track, right? Those kind of things.
The coach was like, Will, what are you doing? Chill. Like, you gonna hurt yourself, man. Chill out.
Yeah, no, he was the consummate teammate, and we really appreciated that. We did. Great leader.
There you go.
There you
My
go.
best days, man. Florida, Gainesville was some of my best days just in life. Just being on that team and being in that atmosphere was like no other. I think it definitely was a integral part of just me turning into a man. Honestly, I feel like I didn't feel like I got to college really until I got to Gainesville. I feel like that was when I really was like, oh dang, I gotta man up. I'm around a whole bunch of athletes that are on the same type of time that I'm on, and they all want to be great, and I'm coming in and I want to be great, but dang, everybody on the team is good. Like, everybody, like,
Yeah.
it definitely just gave me a different focus. It was not just on myself. It was just, you said you want to be great as well. So let's push each other. Let's hold each other accountable. And I think that just helped me to grow as a man.
So wait a minute. I and we all know this, but we're not the audience, right? I feel like Will's age is in this sweet spot where it's like his career is appreciated by the people who choose to pay attention, and also a lot of it is misunderstood by the casual fans. So, like, since we're talking about Gainesville, bro, who are you on the team with in Gainesville? Because that was the most ridiculous collection of jump talent at any one time. So who was on the team?
It was the most ridiculous collective from top to bottom. You start with the jumps. We had Christian Taylor, Omar Craddock, myself. We had Frankie Hammond, who he went to the NFL as well. The sprints, we had Jeff Demps, Chris Rainey, Terrell Wilkes, Leonardo Seymour. We had Tony McQuay. We had William Wynn. We had Stipe Zunic. We had Kamal Messick. We had he was a distance runner from Africa. I'm skipping his name right. Domi. We had Domi. We had Calvin Smith.
No, Calvin wasn't on that team, was he?
Calvin wasn't there. Right? It was Calvin. Calvin he was post collegiate. He was post collegiate that year. Dang.
Eddie Lovett.
We had Eddie Lovett.
But you see my point to the audience. Like, how you have Will, Christian, and Omar on the same jump squad at the same time. There's something in the rules that says that's illegal. I don't really know how. But,
here's the crazy thing about that team, right? At the SEC Indoor Championships, they won long jump, triple jump, shot put, 60, the 60 hurdles, the 200, and they scored in the 8 and the mile and was second in the 4. And the only reason he didn't win the 4 because Karani James beat him. Yeah, that it was just like you said, it was just one of the we walked in there and it just was magical. But again, it was one of those teams where I'll have a problem speaking my mind before a championship, as Will can attest to. but I didn't have to say much on that. It was kind of like, okay, they're like, Coach, we got this. Because Terrell Wilkes was honestly the biggest leader on that group. You know, like Terrell was the voice of that team, and it was a loud voice. There was a guy named Blake Harriet on that team. Remember Blake?
Mm-hmm.
and Terrell got at him a couple of times. You know, he's like, hey, dude, you know, this is not what we do here. So, yeah. Super talented team. Super talented team.
It's funny because we used to talk about Omar a lot, right? Like Omar's a superstar. And Omar was, without question, the third Beatle on that team.
Right.
Right. You couldn't convince Omar of it, which is why he survived. Because if you didn't have Omar's personality, there's no chance you could survive being in that jumps group with those two other dudes. But because Omar is who Omar is, right? Like he was perfectly fine. But I used to always say, like, this dude could jump 1750 and still get third.
Yeah. The crazy thing about it is Omar used to destroy me at practice. Like when we would jump, like, because he was so strong and we would be doing short approach jumps. And like me, I need some speed. Omar come down that thing, he just boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, ugh. And we had this thing called move the shoe. Coach Booth would be like, move the shoe. You got a shoe, you got a shoe, you got a shoe. Y'all go grab your shoe and put it beside the pit. So Christian go, boom, he set a shoe right there. I go, boom, I set my shoe right there. Omar go, boom, set a shoe. My turn again. I move my shoe past everybody else's. Boom, and it just kept going. And then it just was like, Omar kind of put it out there, like, and I think that kept us honest. It kept us going. Like it wasn't no days where anybody could really just slack because we all were just, no one wanted to lose, and we all were just like, man, like if I'm not on it, he's gonna bust me today, you know. And that was with everything, whether we was doing stadiums, hills, sand, jumping, you know, running, flying 100s. It was with all of that.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say it wasn't just in the jump pit, and for the rest of the squad, like, you know, that was when the jump runways were against the wall. Mm-hmm. So for me, for practice purposes, I wanted the wind to be blowing the opposite direction, so they would be at the other end of the track doing this. Because if they were down by the finish line, everybody stopped to watch. So I'm like, can we do some block starts, please? And quit watching these dudes. You know, so, but it was just such an energy, you know, like, okay, my question for you is, yeah, sometimes something that gets lost a lot is the great battle you and Christian waged in 2011. You were in the middle of that at the NCAA championships. And like, so like, just talk to me what's going through your mind during that. You know, it was, as a coach, it was an incredible thing to watch. You know, obviously it was better because you guys were on my team, right? But you're in the middle of it. So yeah. Tell me what you were feeling during that time.
Man, honestly, I felt like going into it, I knew I was ready and I knew Christian was ready. And I knew that Christian I knew he was slow playing me a little bit. I knew he was kind of slow playing me, like, I'm not going to really push it that much at practice because I know I'm ready. And so I'm like, all right, cool. All right. So we get the jump in. You know, Christian, if you put it out there, he going to go. And so right. We put our first jump out there and I'm like, oh, I'm on today. Like, I'm on. So I go, boom. Christian come behind me, boom. All right, cool. My turn. Boom. And it was just like a tit for tat. And I was just like, wow, like we just took it to a level where neither of us knew we were going to jump that far. You know, and I'm looking up and I'm looking at the ball. I'm like, dang, now we're jumping 58 feet. Like we didn't ever think we were going to jump that far. And so it was really I appreciated it so much because he brought it out of me. And I know that I brought it out of him. And so obviously we knew, as far as the team, we knew we was going to get those points for the team. And it was just for us on the runway, it was just like, all right, well, who's going to take it out? Who's going to get it? You know, and it was just, it also showed us that we were we were ready to go and compete against the guys that we watch on TV and the guys that were jumping in Europe and stuff like that. We're like, oh yeah, okay, if we can do this together here right now, we can do this anywhere in the world, and we can take this show on the road. That was kind of how we felt, you know, going from there. But it was just a special moment that we both brought ourselves outside of our bodies, you know, outside of our minds, I should say. And from there on, the sky was the limit.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's really interesting for me as a fan of these events and somebody who's watched you guys collegiately and then throughout, you know, the transition of both of your careers, which obviously have been spectacular. That's obviously the emphasis of this, you know, career-long battle that you two have had. What has that rivalry meant to you? Because it's rare. Yeah. Like, you guys are at the same place at the height of your powers for all this time. It's been y'all's show.
That's probably been one of the biggest blessings, honestly, for my career. You know, I could even speak on high school when I would go on Dice Stat and I see Christian jump 52.2, and I'm like, all right, well, I got to jump further than that. You know, I'm like, I got to go 52.4, and then, you know, he come back. I know he's looking at it too. He come back, he go 52.6, and then, you know, we take that into college. I remember my freshman year at Oklahoma. Yeah, it was both our freshman years, and we're at Texas A&M indoors, and that was our first time meeting each other. We never met each other we never saw each other in person until this moment when we jumping against each other at nationals. And so it just was like seeing like a unreal person. Like this dude is really real. Like, dang, that's Christian. All right, like, dang, man, I've been competing against you for all this time, and now I'm finally seeing you in person, and it's just cool to be going through this with you. And I feel like we're gonna bring the best out of each other. And that was the conversation that we had, and it was just like right away it was mutual respect, you know. And it was the same thing for Omar too. I remember the first time I jumped against Omar at a younger age. I think I might have been a sophomore in high school. And you know, I was on the track team we didn't really have much money. And I would go to a track meet with a white tee on and some gray sweats. And so I go to this meet and I'm like, dang, who is this buff dude with all this gear on? Like, and he had braids, he had beads in his braids, and he had the whole like Jumps Corp. Everything is branded, and he just is looking like a professional. I'm like, dang, who is this dude? Like, he about to kill me. Like, he on another level. So we get to jumping, and I'm like, dang, man, he's putting that pressure on me. And I ended up beating him, but I was like, man, like he's in a different league, like within track and field. Like, I'm just out here just having fun with it. He's for real. So that was kind of the first time I got, you know, in contact with Omar. From there, we just became tight too. And it translated to when we got to Florida to where it's like, dang, we actually all ended up on the same team. It's a wrap. We taking over the whole game. And that's kind of how, you know, even on my visit, when I took my visit there, it was just like, I mean, where else would there be to be? Where else is there to go? You know, like, this is where you got to be. I mean, Coach Booth is here. You guys are here. We just going to take over the whole world. And that's kind of how we
And then y'all did.
Kept it.
I used to accuse Mouse of assembling the Avengers.
He still does at times.
Hey.
So I have a question. So, you know, obviously being around you, I always knew of your love for music,
mm-hmm.
but you never let on to me that was a passion of yours that you want to pursue of producing your own stuff. So talk to me about that a little bit, because I was like, man, you know, and I was listening, I'm like, oh, that's Will, right? You know?
Yeah. I think it took me gaining confidence. I think it took me gaining confidence in myself to really do it in a way that, because I would always make music and I would hold on to it. And I was just listen to it. Maybe a few friends, like even me and Omar, we lived together and we would make songs at the house, but we just never told anybody about it. And so, you know, as the years went on and I did it more and I got more reps at it, and I felt like I was at a place to where, all right, now I think people can digest this the right way. And because I know a lot of athletes have as a hobby just tried to do that, and it's just like, that's like, no, stick to, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing with your sport. And like Shaq, Kobe, Carl Lewis, like all these,
No.
like,
No.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Lord Jesus.
Look, if you haven't seen the Carl Lewis music video,
Oh my God.
Go Google that. Thank us later. It's Will's fault. Thank us later.
Yeah.
I
Facts.
didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that. And so I'm like, all right, I'm not putting this out. You know, and as I was able to, like, even I think after I was out of school and I just had more time, like I'm not a big I don't like play video games, and I just didn't really, I wasn't doing anything. So I was like, well, sure, I got time now, I'm not in school. So then I started to record a lot more. And that was kind of just a way for me to get away and vent and just, you know, just switch my energy off. And so at that point is when I was like, all right, now I'm at a point where I can put this music out. And that was kind of around 2013, 2012.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I can own this like I believe most people should. Years ago when I first heard, oh, you hear Will got an album, I'm like, really? Is that what we're doing now? Like, come on. But then I heard it and I'm like, actually, that boy's good.
Yeah.
And it was crazy for me because, you know, I'm a West Coast baby and your sound is very West Coast. So I appreciate it at a different level just because, that's a vibe that we have. So for like, when you really started to realize like, okay, I can do this just as well as I can do, my profession, in pro track, like you got coaches in athletics. Who are your like main influences that helped you, crystallize your sound and kind of dial in like, how that all played out?
Man, I would say firstly it was YG. YG was like the first person to really bring me into the studio. DJ Mustard, Ty Dolla $ign, on just that whole camp really just brought me in and just helped me, just not even by doing anything, but just by letting me be in the room and just seeing the process. And then from there, just whenever I had time, I would just go to LA and getting in studio sessions. Like I'd be in the studio with Juicy J. Oh man, this other dude named Derek. Derek Milano. He wrote a lot of records for Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion and stuff like that. And just being in a studio with these type of people and seeing the process, I'm like, oh dang, like okay, like I just kind of take from that and put it in my own toolbox, and it really helped me. It helped me tremendously. And then obviously, like a lot of my good friends, they are artists too. Like one of my friends, he signed to Interscope. Another one of my boys, he raps too. So like just being in close proximity with them, and they all West Coast guys. So like it's only gonna rub off on me. And so from there, I just felt like I was able to build my own sound and my own person just from that.
And I want, like, because a lot of people probably still are just coming on to the fact that your music is out there. Like, go listen to it. Like, that's the thing that I appreciate. You do have your own sound. Like, when I hear you, I don't hear like, oh, he's trying to do like this person. Like, you have a very unique sound and it's skills. So, hey, man, props. I love it.
I appreciate it. I put a lot of work into it, man. It's definitely a very tedious thing, similar to triple jump. You know, it's very tedious, and you got to kind of just master it and get your reps in. You know, it just takes a lot of just doing it over and over and over and over and over, and you get more comfortable with it as you go.
So I want to jump in here and ask probably a question every jumper or jumps coach who watches this would want me to ask, which is, you have done just about everything. So what's left on the goal sheet?
I don't feel like I've done everything. I feel like the world record is what I want.
God, I'm glad to hear you say that.
I don't want to put it in reach for a while. I want to put it out there. And then an Olympic gold medal, that would definitely seal the deal for me. As far as things that I want for myself from the sport. And then from there, you know, it's just pushing the event forward. You know, I think there's no limit to it. You know, who would have thought Bob Beamon was going to do what he did? And then once he did, you saw where it continued to go from there. So I just want to figure out different ways to push the envelope, because there's these I think there's these like boxes that we put athletes in and events in, and we say, you know, this is the peak of it. This is as far as you could go. And then you got somebody like Karsten Warholm go out there and run 45 seconds in the 400 hurdles. You know what I mean? Like, and we were like, no, we never thought anyone was ever going to do that. And then he did it. And then you got Rye right behind him. And now Rye's probably going to come out next year and run 45 seconds. You know what I mean? And then the next guy's going to do it. And so I just want to figure out just different ways to get better for myself and to show the next jumpers like, hey, you know, there is possible. It's possible to really take it there. And, you know, it may be switching up things, like as far as technique and trying new things. Maybe I need a bigger hop. Maybe I need a bigger step. Just figuring out, you know, how I can take it there.
I would take heat if I didn't give you an opportunity to do what I'm always accused of and ask you a petty softball question. So sir, the final three, go.
Trash. Trash.
But as a professional jumper, explain why. Like, we know why, but crystallize it for the people that still are defending this and don't get it.
So I don't see how you can, for one, if you're in the final three already, you're probably not gonna jump further. One, because your time frame that you have to recover has just shrunk by so much, for one. And they don't give you any time period in between. So that's already no one's jumping further than the last round. And then before that, it's just, you never know what someone can put together on their last jump. You know, we've seen it time and time again. And then you can get to your last jump and have the furthest jump in the competition and still not win, because the last jump that someone had was further. Not counting none of the 5 jumps before that. We just gonna count this last jump. I don't understand. I don't know who came up with it, and I just don't understand how.
Well, it was a decathlete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huff's crew came up with that.
Oh, definitely not me.
Oh
Had
man,
nothing to do with it. I think I have.
Hey, coach, man, I'm
this
sorry. I'm just telling you how I feel. That's just.
Oh, no. We feel the same. So
we also
continue.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Like-
just think it takes away from our event. You know, it just really takes away. Why toy with our event? You know, I think this era has been arguably the best generation of the triple jump, you know, of all time, as far as the amount of jumpers that are hitting certain marks. And so why toy with it? You know, I feel like we've been doing a good job with what we've had before. I don't see any reason.
What almost happened that would have, I think, forced this nonsense to the forefront and got rid of it was the meet that Rojas broke the world record.
Mm-hmm.
On her last jump. If she would have fouled, she wouldn't have won.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would have been
right.
perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
That would
I
have
almost
been perfect.
wanted her to foul that jump just to make the point.
I mean, unfortunately, I did too. And the thing is, because she knew where she was at and knew what the adrenaline piece was at, like she backed up like 2 feet and took off the back edge of the board. Like she had no intention on engaging with the board. And that it's like when Krauser threw from basically the back of the ring, because it's like, I'm not about to lose this money over this stupid rule. Like that should tell you that the rule is stupid.
Right.
When the best people are like, nah, I'm not engaging in this because this is dumb, that should tell you it's dumb.
It's dumb. Yeah. I agree.
You know, look, I love Will Claye, the triple jumper, but I will say this. Your pursuit of greatness in the triple jump has been awesome to watch, but I think we will all agree it has stolen Will Claye, the 890 long jumper, from us, though. You can't argue with that one.
Yeah. Because
you can jump 830, you can jump what you've jumped in combination.
Yeah.
But in order to be an 880 or 890 guy, you would probably have to stop triple jumping, and obviously that's never going to happen.
Yeah. You're right. And I think it just took away from me doing like more speed work, which I think would have definitely helped me to get there. You're right, definitely.
You know what? That's interesting. Good question, sir. So is it the fact that you don't yet have the world record, that you don't yet have the Olympic gold? If you would have had both of or either one of those, would you have put the triple jump down and pursued the long exclusively?
No. I was.
I asked that question.
No, but you know, I mean, that was a fair question.
Yeah.
See,
Look,
I'm
the long jump is Will's girlfriend. The triple jump is
like,
Will's wife.
She's not even his girlfriend. It's like it's a mistress or something. I don't know. You know, side
chick.
Right.
Piece.
Exactly. You know, it's like that's not even in the conversation. I'll see that chick when I see her. Right. I ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
Because
that's about right.
You know, being around you and Christian, like there was just a different day. We were at the conference meeting this long jump day, and they come to the track, they're smiling and talking to everybody. Triple jump day, they get out. Will got his hat on. Christians walk around, you know, putting their marks down. It's total silence. 2 different days. So yeah, I mean, the long jumps kind of, you know, hang out with the family, you know, get a little something to eat. Triple jumps like, don't come over bother me, boy. I got work to do. All business. So yeah.
There you go.
I have a question for you, actually. Knowing that what you said about building the sport, building the event and whatnot, do you think you'll further your career into the coaching side?
I have a lot of respect for y'all because y'all have a lot of patience.
Just answer the question.
I think he just did.
The answer is no. He is not.
The answer is no.
Well, so
I don't think so.
Because his mother raised him to be polite. He's trying to be nice.
I love it. Well, because I said, so knowing that your answer would lean to that way, and knowing who Coach Todd is and knowing his demeanor, we know he has a great heart, but he'll tell you how it is. And he snaps at you and he's like, no nonsense, right? You can do that. But like you said, it does take a special heart to be a coach.
Yeah. I could see myself coaching like junior, like kids. I do see that. I think I would enjoy that. Like young kids, for sure.
When they're still nice.
Yeah, when they still like, when they not,
When the stakes are lower.
When the stakes are lower, it's just having fun. You're not, you don't know everything yet. You're not worried about going to this school and trying this uniform on, and you just, it's different. I think, yeah. I think that's my speed.
All right. Well, I want to change lanes a little bit. You are a huge inspiration to a very large number of people for a lot of reasons. But I think most recently, one of the greatest inspirations you are is coming back from what many people probably thought were career-threatening or debilitating type injury. I guess for the sake of our audience, just take us through the comeback.
Man, those were some of the hardest days of my life, honestly. I've had injuries before. I had a really bad back injury. I had a stress fracture in my back, and in the midst of that was when Coach Holloway still believed that I could still do it, and he gave me a scholarship. And at Florida was when I was able to build back, and that was tough. It was tough to bounce back from that. But this was just on another level. I was fighting the demons of, like what you said, this being a career-ending injury. Doctors telling me, oh, well, triple jump is like that's going to be the hardest thing you could possibly do with this type of injury. And I'm just like, I got to block all of that out. Like, I'm going to make this happen. And so it was just an everyday battle. I had to get up. I found one of the doctors that was working with Kobe for his Achilles. He was in Orange County. So I would get up, and I was driving to Orange County like every other day, meeting with him. And at this point, I couldn't walk yet. I'm still in crutches in a boot. And I had to battle it constantly, like if I was going to be able to make it back. Until the first day that I was able to jog was when I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. But that wasn't probably for like three months, later. And so I spent a lot of time like just by myself. I was reading a lot. I was just trying to do any little exercise that I could possibly do at any moment, because I didn't want to ever let anything get away from me. If I was up, if I was awake, I was trying to do something, whether I'm picking up marbles with my feet, or I'm just like flexing my foot up and down. I'm calling Eric Kennard because he had his Achilles injury. I'm like, man, what were you doing? What can I do? I'm hitting Mutaz Barsham. He had an ankle injury. What were you doing? Trayvon Vermel. I'm calling everybody like, what were you doing? I need to do anything that I possibly can, because at this time, the Olympics was still in 2020. And I was like, I'm about to make it. This is going to be a huge testimony. Like, God is going to he's going to use me in a way that has never been seen before. And so I'm like, I'm about to do it. And then, everything ends up getting pushed back to 2021. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I got time now. And so at that point, you would have thought I would relax, but I went into overdrive, because I'm like, now I can really, really get sharp. They done messed up and gave me time to get sharp. And it was a thing where even like the people around me, Coach Fisher, my chiropractor, like I'm telling everybody, they trying to slow me down. I'm like, no, I need to go. I'm good. Like I'm not feeling any pain. Like let me do more. And you know, they had to kind of like subdue me a little bit. And you know, I feel like to be able to come back and jump at USAs and win USAs and to go to the Olympics, even though I was very disappointed, you know, in my performance. You know, I feel like I should have jumped a lot better, but it just showed me that I can push through, you know, and I can make it through something like that. And you know, I feel like now going into this season, it gives me all the confidence in the world because I don't have to go through that again. I can just start training just like I would any other year. So I think it has helped me to grow in other ways, you know, as an athlete and just as a man, honestly.
Could the work and the results that you all have gotten down there in the training camp in San Diego, you know, run by Jeremy, it's really unprecedented if you peel back and look at the medal counts. What is it about that environment, about that group, about the way it's run? Like, what is it that the people who aren't in there would never understand? Because like I said, it's consistent delivering, you know, medals all the time. And no one else is doing it that way.
I think it's because that's the only emphasis is on medals. I think our training is only centered around championship. Like it'll be some years where I probably do like 4 to 5 meets, you know, and it's just like, we're getting ready for USAs and championships. And that's how our training blocks are built. And Coach Fisher, he'll tell you himself, you know, that he doesn't care about any meets but those 2. And sometimes it can be frustrating to me because shoot, I want to go get money. You know, sometimes I just want to go to Diamond League meets and you know, and jump well rather than being in a hole and make some money. But you know, the money comes on the back end, you know, when you get medals. So, you know, I feel like it's worked. It's definitely worked, you know, for us. And I think being at the center, obviously you have everything you need when it comes to food, when it comes to physios, trainers, doctors, the weight room. You know, they've done a very good job with helping, you know, to put us in a place to be able to win those medals. If they spent all that money and we didn't win medals, somebody's getting fired. You know, because it's a lot of money that they spending over there, you know, for us to be there. So, you know, I think it's only right that we come back with something.
Amen to that.
Well, thank you, sir, very much for that time, your insight, and all those words. Honestly, I think there are so many things that people learned just about you personally, and then just insight into specifically the jumps, you know, that you shine light on that isn't necessarily thought of every day. So we appreciate you for that, definitely.
No problem. I appreciate y'all having me.
When's the next music drop?
I'm gonna put you on blast in front of everybody. I need to see you on April 1st and 2nd at the Florida Relays, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. I need a new 100 PR, coach. I need a new 100 PR, so I'm coming out there, man.
So we gotta hope the wind blows in the opposite direction because we run really fast that way, right?
I'm going, yeah. Whichever way the wind blows, coach, send me that way, man.
I got you, brother. You know I got you.
What is your 100-meter PR?
10.5. Too slow,
we
man.
We gotta get rid of that.
Okay, so and I will not show them the video. But dude, like, literally fell out the blocks. Like, literally fell out the blocks. And the crazy thing was, okay, so we're warming up, and he's killing the acceleration. The gun goes off. I think he thought he was doing this little hop out of the back of his approach. No, Will, that's not what he worked on. But you you're too busy talking trash to Chris Rainey, and then you had to run him down. See,
Man, yeah, I had to, because Chris, man, he gonna talk, man, so I had to get on him.
Yeah,
That's so
but
funny.
see, if you'd have executed the start properly, you'd have ran by him at 60 instead of at 95. So
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we know to be on the lookout for Will at relays.
yes,
When's the next music dropping? When can we expect some more music?
So I'm almost done. I'm almost done with this project. Usually my off season is when, I get to really lock in. So, that just ended, and I think I'm probably 90% done with this project that I'm working on right now. So hopefully end of this year, top of next year. And it's definitely gonna just break down a lot of what I went through, with my whole Achilles injury, and just coming back from that, and just trying to use that to motivate the next person going through whatever they're going through. So it'll definitely be the best music I put out. I could definitely say that.
Right on.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's a milestone.
Well, well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we will definitely be looking for you on different platforms for different things, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate it, Coach.
all right, man. It's always good to see you, bro. Talk to you
All
soon.
right, man.
All right.
19 meters.
Yes, sir.
I know how he thinks. 19 meters.
Yep. That's my lock code on my phone. So
See?
Don't say
Keep it
that
up
out
there.
loud. Have a good night, Will.
all right, now.
Thank you. All right. Wow.
All right, hold on. Can I just fanboy for a second? Like,
Of course.
I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, that was amazing.
It wasn't me.
That was amazing.
That was cool though. Very cool. Very, very cool.
Well played by the EP. Well played by the EP.
So let's stir the pot, gentlemen. We'll go with the direct relation first, and then we'll wild out a little bit and get loose. There was a big drop by the USTCCA, NCAA, whoever you want to attribute this to, but the delivery was on Twitter about Division II and the way they are going to advance to championships. They are no longer going to have an auto qualifying mark. They're going to go to a complete provisional list. Clyde, I'm going to ask you to speak first on it because you have direct experience with the process.
Okay, so it's been some time since I was in Division II. When I was in Division II, if they would have dropped this information, the first thing out of my mouth would have been, why and how is that supposed to impact the selection of the meet? And to my knowledge, they've left that part out of the announcement of the change. On paper, I don't really care if you call it an automatic standard or a provisional standard. The problem with Division II and how they select who goes to indoor nationals is it's not equitable across the board. At Division I, you know what it is. It's top 16. You're in or you're out. No ambiguity. Either you number 16 or you're not. In Division II, there's always been this weird wiggle room that nobody really understands why or how. So if you tell me that you're doing away with the AQs, I'm cool with that. But are we also getting a hard number across the board for each event? If they are, then I'm all for it. And I don't really care. But if they're not, it feels like there's more room for shenanigans. And as everybody knows, I am not a fan of selection shenanigans from people who sit in offices. I want to know what it is to qualify and let the kids go out there and decide it on the track. Division II has enough hurdles to clear You know, they don't always have access to the proper tracks or to the best tracks, I should say. It's already difficult to qualify because of lack of access. So if this is meant to make it better for the kids, great, but I need to know why, and they haven't explained that.
Gentlemen, follow up on that?
I understand where you're coming from. It sounds to me like we could end up like the NC Division I championships used to be, where there might be 16 in this event and 12 in another, and you know, that kind of nonsense. And so I think that I don't know enough about it to really delve into it like my man Clyde did, but I will say that let's hope for transparency sometime soon, and let's definitely hope that it's a fair shake across the board so that you don't have the, as you call it, shenanigans. And I appreciate you saying shenanigans. I know you want to say something else. So
We have
I think I'm gonna end up labeling myself at some point in time as like an NCAA hater. I'm really not. I cannot stand. I just cannot stand like over officious nonsense that doesn't move the needle, right? This is an announcement of nothing, because without the transparency and without the real, like, look, how we get the top of the list is always going to be the same. Like the top of the list is always going to be what it is. But to Clyde's point, like if the list doesn't have a bottom, if the list doesn't have a hard cap number, we have a problem. Because unless it is equal opportunity in each event to get to the national meet, we have moved backwards, not forwards. End of story.
And I honestly, you know, I haven't looked at provisional marks versus AQ marks in Division II because I haven't worked there in 7-something years, right? But back when I was in there, what was an AQ in the 60 and the 200 was dramatically different from a level of performance to what it was in the distances or in the jumps or whatever. So now that you taking the AQs out of there, are there some kind of rational adjustments to what we're calling a provisional? Because again, it shouldn't be harder provisionally in one event versus the other either. So there's too many questions. Like
I think that speaks to my question. When they talk about all marks being provisional, does that just mean there's going to be a list, or does it mean get a certain mark to beat? You know what I'm saying? So again, there's too much uncertainty here, because if they could just be speaking to the fact that they're all provisional marks and then a certain number was going to get in, or they could just be speaking to the fact that we're going to give you a mark that's a provisional mark. But if you give them a mark, I don't know. None of it makes any sense to me right now either. So.
I mean, I'm old enough competitively that my freshman and sophomore year in college, there was one standard, right? And to Clyde's point, the standards were never equitable, right? Like what it took to make the NCAA meet in the shot put was nothing like what it took it to make in the long jump, which was nothing like what it took to make it in the 60. Like they weren't equitable. And so that you had these like non-commensurate numbers of people that would be at the national meet. And like there were 11 men shot putters that made the national meet one year. Well, I think it was my freshman year. And there were like 27 dudes that made the national meet in the long jump. And I was like, well, okay, clearly the long jump standard is too easy, or the shot put standard is way too hard. So they finally got rid of that because the number, they wanted a hard number. And they went to basically, eventually they got to what we have now, where it's like, it's a number, it's a hard cap, that's it. But if you're going backwards by ways of how we're putting together this list, which is what they're doing, I'm okay with that. But if you don't give us the rest of the information, like, okay, all marks are basically going to go on a list, right? There is no automatic, so like they're all provisional. Then the rest of the sentence that we're not getting is, and the top blankety blank make the national meet.
Right.
That's the part we're not getting.
And as a person that, used to sit in all, the meetings for Division II at the Alphabet camp. I'm like, I always used to ask this question. And listen, Division I is, trust me, not perfect. Okay. But Division II and Division III do a lot of weird things that feel like they're just trying to be different sometimes.
It's different for the sake of being different.
Exactly. Just to say it's different. And on this particular issue, D1 has it correct. So just do what they're doing. Pick a number, tell everybody what the number is, and then just go to the meet. It's really not that hard. And the fact that D1 has such a cruel number, don't get it twisted. 16 is cruel because it is hard as hell to qualify for indoor nationals at Division I. But that's what
it's
makes
the hardest meet to qualify for in the world. In the world. But that standard being how it is what makes that meet so insane every single year. So D2, find some guts, pick a number, and just make it simple. All the coaches will appreciate it, I imagine.
So as the verbiage is stated on the release, there is no number given. They do list the provisional numbers, standards per event, per gender, and that there's going to be conversions of altitude and event and track size, I guess is how you say it. So
the fact that they went out of their way to say there's no number is like a big flashing red light for shenanigans. Yep. I ain't with it.
Yeah. Yep. So it's, it doesn't look far off from what it was prior, but it's been a while since I was in D2 as well. So got it. Yeah, we'll have to sit back and see what happens with this one. This one will be a fun ride to see happen. I'll be on the ground. Thank you very much. So the wheels come off. Football chaos.
Yes.
We're going to sit in some collegiate football chaos because the NFL didn't serve us much this week. So we're going to go with the chaos.
Cowboys did win another football game.
Cowboys did win. The planets are aligning somewhere.
What date is it?
Oh my God.
Today.
It's not January.
What is it, like week 4, week 3, something like that?
No, it's all the same.
Is it really week 6? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It is week 6.
Wow. Holy crap. But college football chaos. Where do we even start? Because on and off the field, there's been a lot.
I'm saying the best chaos is off the field this week. Can we start off the field?
Sure. We'll work our way back on.
Where you want to, sir.
Can we start with the student body that clearly brought things to throw at Lane Kiffin? And this was, look, as they were getting drunk and preparing to bring things into the stadium, the thought was, if we win, we can throw stuff at him because he's a loser. If we're losing, we can throw stuff at him and act like we're angry fans. So either way, bring stuff to throw at Lane Kiffin. He dipped on us in the middle of the night to go to the Raiders. Screw Lane Kiffin, we out. The man got hit with a golf ball.
He didn't actually get hit.
Listen, we're not gonna revise this history. The man got hit with a golf ball at a football game. Just let that wash over you.
Listen, I think on this particular issue, we should defer to our SEC legend because, I'm an SEC graduate, but Lucious here has spent way more time in the SEC than
he's
I
called
have.
Old again. Okay, that's good.
Than I have, and all I can tell you is that when I transferred into the University of South Carolina, I had never seen a fan base so emotional over such a sorry football team as I did in South Carolina. But then my life took me to Knoxville, Tennessee. Them people ain't got no sense. And look, it was an amazing thing to watch on TV, but I can't explain it because so Lucious.
Well, I will give it a try. I don't think that anyone that's ever been to that campus for any sporting event and you weren't wearing those colors, that gaudy orange, if you're not wearing those colors, you are the enemy. And make no bones about it, right? I mean, like, we've been through the airport and the baggage handlers have written stuff on our bags. That's how bad it is, right? It's just how they talk. And look, they do not care whether you like it or not. They are who they are, and they're proud of who they are. But then you take this guy that snuck away from them in the middle of the night, basically, gave him the middle finger. Of course I'm surprised that the security wasn't beefed up, that there wasn't, because like Lamar said, no matter what happened, they could have won that game by 50 points. He was getting pelted.
Facts.
There's no ways around that. So my disappointment here, obviously very disappointed in the fans. Like, that was very low rent, low class, whatever you want to call it. But I'm more disappointed in the administration and the security folks because they had to know. Because, like I said, anybody that's been there as a visiting team in any sport, they do not care. They don't.
I mean, there was a full-blown riot when he left.
Yep.
I'm like, it's a football coach, and they weren't any good. Like, it's all right. It's cool. But no, it was a riot.
If they were good and he left like that.
Right. Hey man, them people are insane.
They're very unforgiving. They are very passionate about their sport at the University of Tennessee. Very passionate about it, as we witnessed. So, was I surprised? Yeah. Was I surprised? Yeah, but I wasn't shocked. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I'm surprised they got away with it for as long as they did.
For as long, that's it right there. For as long as they did. 20 minutes.
Yeah. But
20 minutes.
They did that. Of course, I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised even when the game started.
And what got lost in all of that is, a game that started off relatively boring turned into a hell of a game. But don't nobody remember any of that. It was just this.
It's going to forever be done the golf ball game now. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
So sticking with our off the field chaos, my favorite off the field chaos from this week is on the West Coast, where for weeks, how do I say this? The storm has been building for weeks up in Washington State, where the media has been asking the head football coach for weeks about his status as it relates to vaccines. Now, for those of our audience that don't really understand, the culture, Washington is, it's West Coast stuff, Democratic leadership. They've been very, very serious about the COVID scenario for a very, very long time. And everybody knew the mandates were coming. And this dude literally was disrespectfully dodging this question for weeks. And I'm sitting here watching, I'm like, he knows he's going to get fired, right? And for me, I'm proud that the university decided, you know what? It's college football, and everybody thinks that sports are more important than everything. I'm really proud that the university held to their guns and was like, actually, you and all your staff members that don't want to play ball can go. I was very proud of that, because honestly, because it's college sports, because it's football, I felt like that was going to drag on and people were just going to keep it quiet and the media was going to keep pounding it. No. They tossed them, as they should have. So props to Washington State. And I can't process what goes on in somebody's brain. You're going to throw away millions of dollars over what? I don't get it.
Well, I think it's just a clear-cut case of him thinking he was bigger than the sport. He was bigger than the movement, anywhere you want to state that. And for those people out there who are going to get up on their soapbox and scream and yell, it's unfair, it's all that. At the end of the day, Washington State University, their presidents, their athletic director, everybody else involved in this decision, made a decision that they thought was best for their football program, right? For the safety and well-being of the student athlete, which is what the NCAA is supposed to be about. So at the end of the day, whether you like the decision or not, it was that man's decision to make. He made the decision, and the guys that chose not to get vaccinated, they suffer the consequences. Yeah. I'm gonna take a shot for $1 million. I promise you I am.
I mean,
Several million.
I probably would take too.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to their beliefs. But if you're going to stand by your beliefs, then stand by your consequences.
Yeah. I'm so glad that this has not become a soapbox thing about like you have to get vaccinated and like this isn't about our public opinions, right? Like, or personal opinions. I mean, like this is about like what's right and wrong as it pertains to the others that are around you, right? Like if you feel your own personal stance is that you're anti-vax, like, look, I'm not even mad at you if that's what you really think. So be it. But at the end of the day, if you're in charge of a football program, which is, between the students and the staffers, it's like that's 200 people that you're going to interact with on a daily basis. Like that's just flat out that's selfish and not fair to them. Right? Like at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like you can't do that and think that there's no ramifications to that. Like that's all I got. I was shocked when they called his bluff that he didn't fold. I was actually shocked by that.
Right.
See, because here's the thing, like everybody's like, everybody's talking about Kyrie. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. When you are a millionaire, it's a lot easier to forego millions. Like it's difficult to forego millions for sure, right? But if I've already signed contracts that are up over $100 million, right? It's just more money.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've never made my first million, it's a lot harder to give up $1 million. Like I sign my name on this thing and I get $1 million. And it's just a whole different deal.
Like we'll be here for 2 hours talking about the Kyrie thing. So I won't even.
We're not going to do that.
I won't even go left with that. But my thing is this, and it's along this whole COVID train that we've all suffered through the last 2 years or whatever. There's been a lot of inflection points, right? And this latest one is, the whole, academically dishonest argument over, it's a personal decision. Public health is not a personal decision. It's just not. Abortion's a personal decision. Whether you do, whether you don't, that only affects you. This is a public health issue. You can't do that. You can't be in a leadership position. And it's not like everybody hasn't been forewarned. I work in the state of California. Governor came out, said, hey, the mandates are here. Here's your drop dead date. Do or don't. And no one out here thought it was a game. Like, oh, okay. Do what you got to do. I don't get it. Like, there's no winning this. Like, you're not winning. You're not a martyr. It's not cute. You're not winning any battle. You're just endangering, the population. So I'm literally proud to see Washington State take that stand.
Definitely interesting.
Well, let's stay off the field.
Oh yeah, because Lamar's favorite topic is we here now. We here now.
I feel like y'all just do the crank in my back, like wind him up.
Oh yeah, the floor is yours, homie.
I'm listening.
There's nothing to listen to. We listen to
listen.
you.
The audience is going to be listening. We are here for this. Go ahead.
Are we talking about? Are we talking about Death Valley?
In Coy, and
right.
Lamar is going to address Coach O not returning to LSU, and because he's got a lot to say, trust me, he does.
Man, does he? Go
I
ahead.
do. Look, first off, let me start by saying this. I do completely get, I will without question acknowledge that almost certainly the separation of Coach O and LSU is for things not involving football and not on the field. All right, so there's my disclaimer. With that being said, I find it interesting, and for the state of collegiate athletics and employment, alarming that people are so cavalier about winning national championships that a guy wins a national championship and 3 years later, he's no longer going to be employed by the school. Like, I just find that incredibly interesting because national championships in any sport are insanely difficult to win, even though Sir Lucious wouldn't have you not necessarily believe that. Not him, his accomplishments. I said, not you, but your accomplishments. It makes it seem like everybody can do this. Okay, they can't, right? Look, Alabama and Clemson have run away and hid for the most part from the rest of the college football world. Those two teams have been playing a game of ping pong, and everybody else has just been like, boom, 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 boom. And then LSU shows up with a quarterback that nobody saw being anywhere near that good, and every receiver on the planet, and all of the stars aligned properly. And for my money, the right guy coaching that group of people at that school. And look, do I get it? Everybody has a time to go. Yeah, I get it. I do. But to these guys' point, I'm going to say the thing that they're waiting for me to say. I don't think that separating, because he's not being fired, separating from Coach Orgeron is going to in any way, shape, or form lead to the advancement of LSU football. In any way, shape, or form.
All right.
There. Are you happy? Like, I got it out.
I mean, I'm a little happy. We're going to get into it.
Because that was not with the same piss and vinegar we got that earlier.
Right.
We'll take it.
So
it's still coming because it's going to come back around.
It's okay. So, Lucious, if you don't mind, I'd like to focus on one thing.
Please do.
Just one thing that he said, because he did a very artsy little dance right there. He said, the right coach coaching the right players at the right time.
He did say that.
I would argue, sir, that I agree with you 100%. And that coach has left for the NFL. It wasn't Orgeron. And since his departure and Orgeron's inability to replace him, LSU has fallen off the map. So if you are the boss, if Sir Lucious and all his rings, I think he would argue that, his staff is important.
Yes,
and he's had some turnover, not a lot, but some over the years. And when turnover happens, magically, Sir Lucious finds a way to put new people in there and elevate the program. If you're the boss and you have turnover, you're supposed to put people in there, makes your program better, and that hasn't happened. So the right coach at the right time is the guy
he didn't interrupt
for the NFL. I would say that man is the primary reason they won that national title, and he ain't there no more, and they're not any good.
We are not going to do the offensive coordinator is the only reason that they're good dance. That is not a thing.
I ain't say that's the only reason. I said it was the primary reason.
And not just that. In your analysis, the problem is Sir Lucious has handled turmoil and turnover, but he's Alabama in this conversation.
That's my point. Nick Saban loses assistants
because
all the time,
because
and somehow Alabama stays Alabama.
LSU is another school. It's not Alabama, right? So, like, if you have turnover and you're trying to beat Sir Lucious in track and field, good luck to you. That's my point.
Okay.
Okay, may I say something to get us off of that train, please? Because this is not about me and what I've been able to accomplish. What this is about for me is this: is that you are clearly there's something you have some kind of fandom for Coach O. I don't know. Maybe you guys like the same kind of food or something. I'm not sure. But
The accent.
what I will say to you, see the whole you shot the holes in your argument when you said, I understand this has nothing to do with football. There's a lot of stuff off the field, right? So once you say that, then all the other stuff doesn't matter, because what you're saying collectively, effectively, is even though you don't think there's another coach out there that I poked that bear that can come into LSU and make LSU better. That's what you said to me earlier.
Yes.
So you want them to keep a coach that he can't get along with because that you don't think it's another coach that can do that job. It's LSU. The Mad Hatter was successful there. They're going to be successful as long as they go get the right person. Now, clearly they have to go get the right person. And there will be people interested in the job, even some of those people that are lying and saying, I'm not interested. We've seen that song and dance before.
Right.
It's LSU. It's a prime time job in the SEC. Of course, there's going to be big name people. There might be NFL coaches that try to come get the job. But at the end of the day, and from where I sit anyway, okay, I would agree with Clyde that LSU is not close to what they were when they won that championship. Not even close. Okay. And clearly that ship is sinking fast. And in a perfect world, if he's getting along better with the administration and the players and all the other stuff that's been complained about, he probably doesn't get fired. Probably give him a chance to right the ship. But I also agree with Clyde in the fact that his biggest issue from where I sit anyway is that he hasn't done a very good job of replacing his assistant coaches. And he hasn't done a very, very good job of recruiting another good quarterback.
And so here's and I want to try to wrap a little bow around this for you, Lamar, because Coach O been around, okay? And when Coach O came to LSU and they were successful, would you agree with me that in a nutshell, I've never heard anybody accuse Coach O of being great with X's and O's. That's not him. Coach O's rep is leadership and culture, right? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So a source familiar with the situation at LSU, quote, it's one of those things where no one wanted to be there anymore. The players didn't want to play for him and the coaches didn't want to coach for him. So, I mean, Jesus, the leadership and culture guy isn't leading and the culture is awful. How can you justify keeping him? It's the one thing he's supposed to be good at.
I mean, that is a fair point, sir. It is a fair point. I will end on this as far as I'm concerned. All of that is true. And I'm not even trying to refute you guys' argument. I think my issue is the cavalier nature with which so many people think, all right, pluck this dude out, insert other dude, and LSU will go back to being great at football. Like, I've heard those things, and I think that that's probably what's feeding this stuff for me. Is like, it's so far from being that easy.
Yeah, I
it's
think
so
we agree with you
far
on that. I haven't even heard, a name like, hey, that's the guy, and that's always, my Jim Harbaugh argument. If you hate Jim Harbaugh,
I don't know that you're going to hear a name because I don't think there's a name. We can bring Jim Harbaugh back because if you think that Jim Harbaugh should still be head coach at anywhere named Michigan, we got a whole nother conversation.
No, but I'm actually making the argument. I've made that argument to the one you're asking. Your point ultimately is, okay, if not him, who? And I'm asking. So that's my Harbaugh argument. If Harbaugh sucks, tell me who's going to be better, and that's what you're saying here.
And at the end of the day, guys, okay, like this is a thing. Like, I would never want to be an AD because I wouldn't want to deal with the fans of the football program.
Yeah.
Because there are certain schools that phones were ringing. The 80s phone was off the hook. You just couldn't keep it on the hook this week. You know that. It was ringing every 2 seconds because their football team lost. They're not doing what they should be doing, and they want people's heads to roll.
Hell yeah.
Right? And so that's just the fan side of it. That's just part of the business. But like, again, this goes back to me is, what Clyde read and what, the other talk has been, this wasn't a football field issue. This was more of an off the field issue. And clearly, when you hear about the culture, which is what he was supposed to be so good at, clearly he's lost his way. Because the culture is obviously horrible. If your 80s were willing to make this decision now, they still got another 7 games to play.
Right.
And I will acquiesce to the fact that I think we all agree that, like, look, if your culture is bad, the rest of it can't possibly be good.
Yeah. You cannot be successful in anything with bad culture.
No.
And if you players saying they want to play for the man and coaches don't want to coach for the man, nah, you got no shot.
So I think we hit all of our off-field issues, right? I want to now, since we dumped on Lamar there, I would like to give Lamar props because he was the loudest. He was the loudest, not the only, but the loudest to call Iowa fugazi, his quote. Now, so props for seeing that coming. But I just want to point this out because week after week in the chaotic world of college football, we are here again. So Iowa lost the game. They were number 2. They dropped 9 spots. 9. And I told you last week to the audience that when Oregon won their game, and they did, they dropped another spot.
He did say those exact words.
So this is 2 weeks in a row that Oregon wins their game and loses ground twice. But hey, I'm just saying.
The funniest part about the props you gave me is inadvertently 2 of my loud rants ran into each other because I also said that Purdue was going to upset somebody in the upper half of the Big Ten at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
So it just randomly collided that it happened this weekend.
It was you were 3 for 3 because you clearly said Arkansas sucked, and we would be trying to figure out what ranks. And so
both of us on that one.
Yeah, y'all right there on that one. And I was trying to defend the Razorbacks, and I apologize.
Oh wow, the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks are out of the rankings.
Yeah, they're out of the rankings now. Yeah.
Like the unfortunate part, right? It's just like, look, there are certain things about college football that always is. I don't use always is or nevers very often, but there are certain things about college football that just kind of are true, right? Like it doesn't matter the records. Purdue usually beats Iowa. It's a weird thing. I don't know why that is. It just happens a lot.
You called it,
right? But there's other things out there, right? Like, like Ole Miss and Mississippi State are, whether they're really good or just okay in football, inevitably 2 things are going to happen in both of their seasons every single year. They're going to beat somebody they should, and then they're going to lose to somebody they shouldn't. Both teams do the same thing every single year, no matter who the coach is.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is. I just know it's true. Right? Like the only thing that surprised me at all this year is that Jimbo Fisher was the assistant that beat Nick Saban. That's the only thing that has surprised me this year in college football.
Well, here's an interesting question. When was the last time that neither Texas nor Florida were ranked in the top 25 in the country?
Well, wait a minute. Texas, Florida, and Clemson, who is still not returned to the rank.
Did you see them barely win the game this week?
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, to his point, these names, they're not here, and it's wild.
Yeah.
It's the best chaos season so far. Now, I'd like to point out some interesting factoids here. None of this is going to hold, of course, but there are currently 5 undefeated teams ranked 14 to 25. And there are another 6 teams there are also undefeated still hanging on, right? Of those undefeated teams, I'm just, you know, the Fugazi watch is on for probably all of them. You know what I mean?
No question.
But I am planting my flag. The most chaotic thing that can happen, and therefore I will continue to root for, is Cincinnati. Cincinnati is holding tight at number 2. And I am team Cincinnati for the rest of the year. Because that
who's
is
3, 4, and 5?
4, of course, magically, is Alabama. Just like that, they're right back. And number 5 is, of course, Ohio State. Right back. You see what I'm saying?
Who's 3?
Oklahoma, of course. Who else would it be? Like, listen, we know how this is going to go. I mean, Clemson's done, right? Clemson's done. But they're going to push the same names right to the front as much as they can. So Cincinnati, you better not even win a game by 7 points.
Yeah, they got to be on blowout alert.
Right, because the minute you have a close game, they're going to bounce you back behind all these people. It's amazing.
I really would like to have somebody on the committee explain the Oregon moving south, though. Like, that would be the one that I would.
But
like,
see, it's not the committee yet. It's a coaches poll.
Right. That's the brilliance of it.
You're right.
Now,
you're right.
You can't even blame the committee.
Right. It's the coaches, and I'm like, so how are you going to do your peers like that? Help me with this. Help. How do I win and go backwards? Explain yourself.
2 times. You know, everybody else can lose in their conference, and it's cute. Hell, sometimes if you lose in the right conference, you move up. You know?
Stop it.
Man.
Hey. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
where is was it Coastal Carolina? What group of 5 team besides Cincinnati is also highly ranked?
Oh, well, highly none. But so group of 5, Coastal is currently sitting in 14, which means they're dead on arrival. They're not going to be able to climb high enough.
Yeah, no chance.
And so Wake Forest is undefeated at 16. SMU is undefeated at 21. San Diego State is undefeated at 22. UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio, is undefeated and rated higher than Texas. I am here for all of it.
I just don't think people understand the ridiculousness of that current state of affairs.
Yes.
I've only lived in Texas for a month, but I will tell you this. And I would challenge any Texan to defy this. There is a clear pecking order in just about every household in the state of Texas as to the schools in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you might like Texas more than Texas A&M, but they're there. And then you might like Texas Tech more than Baylor or more than TCU, but they're there. Right? Like, when you start getting to the alphabets, you're in like tier 4 in the state of Texas. The UT somewhere else, right? And the Texas A&M somewhere else, like, right? And then the schools named after people like Lamar and Sam Houston, right? Like, those schools are 15. Am I lying?
You're not lying. You're not lying. But here, this reality right here, this is so petty. Let me put some sprinkles on how petty this is. Petty and backwards, okay? From a Texas perspective, Texas A&M, Baylor, SMU, and UTSA are all ranked in the top 25, and Texas is elsewhere. That's petty number 1. But UTSA is 7-0, SMU is 6-0, Baylor is 6-1, and magically they're all ranked lower than Texas A&M, who's 5-2.
I mean, because there's a clear pecking order in the state of Texas.
So, you know, look, it's early, but what is going on in Austin is not sustainable. You should have fired the DC after the Oklahoma debacle, they better get it together because this not going to stand.
There are many questions I want to ask the Dalai Lama. One of them is clearly, how can you not battle for national championships at the University of Texas in every sport? I will never understand that.
Okay. Well,
like I just will never understand that.
I know you. We all know you to be, you and Lucious, for that matter, to be shadow fans of the Big Ten, and so that the powers that be are the powers that be. Listen,
he just called you a shadow fan.
Shadow fans of the Big Ten.
No,
what powers that be are lining this up nicely.
The rest of the Big Ten can take a long walk on the short pier.
I understand. Well, the powers that be are framing this up very nicely for fans of the Big Ten, because we're halfway through, maybe a little bit more than half. Ohio State is getting their guaranteed top ranking, right? They're 5. Michigan undefeated at 6. Penn State with 1 loss at 7. Michigan State undefeated at 9. And they're all going to play. So who's going to come out in the wash? Probably Ohio State. But I'm just saying, like, this is the way it is.
I mean, it's going to come out that way because it's going to come down to Ohio State, Michigan, and we already know Harbaugh can't beat Ohio State. Just saying.
Leave the khakis alone, sir. Leave the khakis
Cincinnati,
alone.
The best team in Ohio, Cincinnati.
Hey,
and again, there's, as Sir Lucious will admit to, there's a hierarchy set up in the state of Ohio, and Cincinnati is definitely not on the top of it.
exactly.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not
Hey,
even a little
but
bit.
I'm all for a Cincinnati versus Ohio State CFP semifinal match. All for it.
I mean, that would be, honestly, that'd be amazing.
Oh my God. That would be epic.
Yep.
I'm here for it.
Wow. Well, if we didn't promise you chaos, that was chaos.
How about Wake Forest runs the table and makes it in?
Hey, it's the ACC.
It's
right?
the ACC. They're going to get, if they run the table, they get in.
It's the ACC, baby.
For the record, that's the second smallest Division I school in the country.
I'm here for all of it.
Jeez, epitome of chaos. So let's do our organized chaos of rapid fire, gentlemen. Clyde, you're up.
Really?
Yeah, I checked twice because I wanted to make sure I messed this up too many times.
All right. I'm here for it. Let's go ahead.
All right. So, what are your go-to shoes? I have Nikes written down, but I realize that you're an Adidas school. So, what are your go-to Adidas shoes? Have you found them yet? If not, Nike shoes.
First of all, my go-to will never be a Nike shoe. My go-to shoes are K-Swiss and Chucks. Let's be clear about that. I'm a West Coast baby, okay?
So,
but you know what I mean? But since, we are Team Adidas around these parts in my professional life, I am currently trying to figure out my Adidas shoes. And so if y'all have suggestions, both for coaching comfort and style, send me some DMs because I ain't purchased nothing yet.
Have you ever owned a pair of Campuses, like the old school flat? Not
yeah. I have a pair of Adidas canvases from the last stint that I had at Adidas, which was Alabama State. Shout out to Richie Bean. But those are dusty and I can't find them right now. So I need some advice.
That's hilarious. So funny story real quick. I know I'm interrupting rapid fire.
I'm gonna say rapid fire is over. It's over.
I know, sorry. The first time I was at a collegiate meet with you, we were at Nebraska's Last Chance meet, and you sure were wearing some K-Swiss, and I walked by you and I was like, is this dude really wearing some K-Swiss right now? Like, what year is this?
And don't get twisted. If I can't find any Adidas that I like, I will be in my all white K's indoors.
Oh,
Because indoors there's no
man.
dust. So I will be in my own white
man.
cave.
I was on one all night that night on the way home. I was like, he really has some K-Swiss on. Anyways, okay, moving on. What is your morning drink of choice?
Chai tea.
I'm going to ask because I'm not going to be presumptuous. Hot or cold?
Typically hot and dirty chai. And for those of you who think gross like Lamar, that all that means is it has espresso in it.
I like it. I like it. I just, you're welcome. There's going to be like 3 of those meeting you at convention if you go. There you go. I'm just trying to help you out. What is your favorite Halloween movie? Scary or not scary?
Oh. Halloween is my favorite holiday by far. It's not even close for an array of reasons. Horror is my favorite genre because it's the hardest to do well. My favorite scary movie, that's really difficult, but in a snap off the top of the head, I think I'm gonna say the original Friday the 13th is still highly up there. The OG Friday the 13th. Can't do it. Oh, you got it. Have you not seen that?
No, I have, and that's the
Oh,
problem. I was traumatized as a child.
I mean, there's so many. OG Exorcist, you know, like there's a lot.
Here's another scary reference. When was the last time you ran a hill with T?
Oh, it's on Instagram. And that's not, listen, T is in off season and I am attempting to be retired from all things running, demo, whatever. I was at the Elite Coaches Summit in Vegas, and because I'm the youngest dude in the room, Ralph got me to demo some equipment and my legs still hurt. I have evidence that I'm not supposed to be running nothing. Like I have science behind that. So
when I saw that video post, I was like, oh, they got him. I said, I know why
all my workouts are pool and weight room. That's all I'm giving myself permission to do.
Oh, goodness. All right, last question. On Snoop's birthday, what is your favorite movie or character that Snoop has either portrayed or done?
Snoop's movies are terrible. So let's just put that out there. Snoop's movies are terrible. You know, love him, love the music, love the man. The best thing Snoop has ever done on TV was co-host the Olympic after show with Kevin Hart. That is TV gold. The movies, I can't think of one movie that I've enjoyed that Snoop was in.
Baby Boy.
Yeah. So Baby Boy, great director, very poor acting by everybody except Taraji Henson, and Snoop was awful in that role. Awful. It almost made it unwatchable. I did not believe Snoop at all in that role. So no, sir. No. I'm here to cancel Snoop's acting career, do the music.
That's funny.
I'd rather watch Snoop cook with Martha Stewart.
Soul Plane.
Yeah, like I said.
All right, gentlemen, it is time for your questions, your contributions.
All I can do is laugh right now.
This dude said Soul Plane. And
I just use you as an excuse to say soul.
Since you're bashing Snoop a little bit, is there any of his music that you're partial to? Any
I love Snoop's music.
So what's your favorite Snoop song?
Ooh. My two favorite Snoop songs are probably things that people wouldn't consider. And they're actually both from his original album. Doggy Dog World, love it. And The Shiznit from the Doggy Style album. My two favorite Snoop songs ever. It's not really close. He's had plenty of great music over time, and there's other albums that he's had that I love, but the original, yeah, that's my thing.
I think it's interesting. I think Snoop's like one of the most prolific and gifted rappers ever. But there's a case that can be made for Murder Was the Case, which is like the first thing. The first thing is that that's ever been produced still might be the best. Right?
No, that's the other one. And you know, people kind of forget that one because it wasn't on one of his albums, but Murder Was the Case was cold-blooded. The video was great. If you ever seen him do that song live on stage, it was always great. And the fact that Snoop is 50 is insane to me.
Yeah. Happy birthday, OG.
Yes. Okay. So you have professed on many, many, many occasions to be a West Coast baby. If we were to grab a human being from the Midwest, send them to you for a Bay Area education, you have 3 at minimum, 5 at maximum places to take them, or things they must see, or foods they must eat. Go.
So, wow. So obviously there has to be a touristy thing in there. And most people would say, you know, the Golden Gate Bridge and all that stuff, right? Maybe Twin Peaks. For me, the most underrated touristy thing that you absolutely have to see when you come to the Bay Area is the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. And you have to see it at night when it's lit up like something that you would see in Paris. It's incredible. The Grizzly Peak viewpoint on the other side of the bay is a must see in the Bay Area. And what's crazy about that is because it's remote and because of its actual location, I know so many people that have lived here their entire lives and never even been up there. And that's tragic.
It's definitely top 2 or 3 views of anything in the United States.
Yes. So there's your viewpoints. You know, from a sports kind of thing, McClymonds High School, my alma mater, where if you truly understand the human beings that have come out of that high school, and, you know, like the amount of not just division, look, I would tell you like this. Bill Russell graduated from McClymonds High School, okay? Between football, basketball, like that school, when you realize the full, you know, catechism that is the academic struggles that they've had over the decades and the athletic prowess that they've somehow been able to maintain and the lives that they've changed out of that community. That's, for me, that's a thing. And of course, you know, collegiately, it's Speed City. So, you know, people act like that's not a part of the Bay. It absolutely is. And so, you know, those are the things for me. Food, man, there's too many choices. It would depend on what your pleasure is. You name the food culture, we have it. And, you know, so the food is way too difficult. But yeah, those are, and you know, if they can stomach it, you take them, you find E40 and you drop them off for a while. And that's all you need to do.
In Vito?
Oh yeah, drop them off.
Okay.
Drop them off. Get the education you need from the quintessential Bay Area legend that is E40.
Can you imagine a tour of the Bay led by E40?
Yes, I am here for it. Like that would be the greatest thing ever.
I'm like a pseudo Bay Area resident, and I would be the first one in line for that tour.
Look, man, look, E40's out here on Instagram doing cooking shows, you know, Goon with the Spoon.
Yeah.
Hilarious, by the way.
Hilarious.
You want to laugh on Instagram? Goon with the Spoon. This boy got wine and all this other stuff going on. There's nothing better than a Bay Area tour led by E40. Nothing better. Like if somebody make that happen.
Well, he low-key did it whenever they used to do the, what was the show on MTV?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't remember
Cribs?
his name.
No.
No.
It was something
Oh, I
they
don't
did,
know.
something Bay Area, and E40 was the one
Yeah.
who narrated and toured it. It was spot on, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And only Bay Area people understood what he was really saying.
Look, hop on, hop off tours led by E40, and you get a free dictionary of slang. I'm
Right.
here for it.
Yes. Yep.
Let me tell you something. If somebody would produce the E40 dictionary of Bay Area slang, it would for sure be a New York Times bestseller.
Hey,
Like, no question.
get it done. Somehow we got to get it done.
All right. Let's move on. Let's give some roses. Let's give some love. Let's shout out some people, however you want to do it, however you want to phrase it. Because that's what we're about. The LOVE. But I will go first. I'm going to jump in again. Sorry, because I don't want any of you to take it, just in case.
Ooh, if you take mine, I'm going to be super salty. Go ahead.
I don't know if I will or not. I doubt it. But I wanted to give a shout out to Francesca Green at Arizona. She was announced her elevation to associate head today, or I finally saw it today. I don't know if it came out before.
Well, thanks for taking mine, you appreciate it.
Yes.
Got somebody's. It wasn't mine, but she got somebody.
Right. But, you know, I've known her for a few years now, several years. Not super personal, but just being a female who coaches power events, we all kind of band up. And she's always been a shining light, a great smile, a great supporter, who works super hard. And it's been amazing to see her, to have her as someone I can look up to follow with. So congratulations to you, my dear. Much deserved. And I can't wait to see everything that you can already have done, but even now with the associate head marker with it.
Indeed. Well deserved.
I'll go next because mine's not necessarily very positive, and I don't want to end the show on this one.
Okay.
My heartbeat props go out to a very good friend of mine who is a junior college baseball coach. And my heart goes out to him because I think people underestimate the value, not just that coaches have on kids, but that kids have on coaches. And my friend suffered the loss of one of his former players to an overdose. And it's the second player he's had, as he put it, that he's lost to that mess. And I want to send my shout out, my heartbeat props out to Gene Bowles for, look, I'll say it the way it is, for being a Caucasian guy who is a beacon of light in a whole lot of minority kids' lives for all of the right reasons. And for my friend who is in pain because of the pain he feels for one of his players and their families, I just want to send him a virtual hug and send out my heartbeat props to just let him know that it's okay to be hurting, but just to remember all the players' positive lives he has touched, and not to just focus on this particular result, which obviously is not a good one.
Well said.
I'm gonna let you go next, so I don't think I might steal yours if I go. So
Well, I wanted to go next to give you more time to gather. So hopefully, all right. So the other great piece of news for me this week came out of my alma mater, University of South Carolina. We were smart enough and righteous enough to hire Miss Dawn Staley to a $22.4 million contract. And, we could do a whole show just on that and the importance of it and the levels to it. But the bottom line is she deserved it. And so often in our business of college athletics, deserving people never see the money that they rightfully should get. And so for her to get that on time, when she deserved it, at the height of her powers, is amazing. And I hope it leads to some kind of trend, not just in the basketball world, that moves the needle across the board and coaches start getting fairly compensated for the work and the production that they have. Standing ovation to Dawn and her crew, and honestly to the administration. I don't know the ins and outs of how it got done, but that was the only decision to make. And the fact that everybody was so blown away by the number only speaks to, you know, how small-minded we all have become used to seeing these things play out. It shouldn't be news that Dawn got that contract. It should be the norm when you're that good. And she is that good. So elite people should be paid elite across the board in all of our sports, because it's not like they don't have the money. So congratulations, Gamecocks. Proud of y'all.
Well, I was definitely going to steal yours. That's why I let you go. After Big League stole mine, I'm like, well, I think that's what, because I was going with Francesca because I knew you were going to go there. So I could not steal yours. But I'm going to stay in my family since all my outside the family stuff got taken away from me tonight. And I'm going to give my heartbeat props to my daughter, Michelle, who is an author now. She's got a book out, Crushing the Box, and it's on Amazon. And so please check her out. Very proud of you, young lady. And if you want to help her out and don't want to feel like dealing with Amazon, text me. I'll send you the link. No doubt about that. So help support my baby girl. Congratulations.
Should get the link posted with the announcement of this week's show.
Yeah, I'll do that. Definitely. I actually already have the link for the book, so I got it.
All right.
Well, thank you one. Thank you all for another fun week. Hope you enjoy that segment with Will. I think we're all going to chuckle at random times for the rest of the week, just thinking about things that were said. But beyond that, have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all again soon. Have a good night, guys.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's pacing with pill to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.